Good morning, it's Tuesday morning. I keep wanting to say Friday morning, but it's Tuesday morning. Just gone 6. Slept well last night. So the video on tiredness and energy levels. Well, eventually you've got to sleep. Eventually your body says, I need to sleep. I need to sleep. So I slept. So I wanted to talk about employability. Right, employability. So, employers, organisations talk about being mindfulness employers. What that means is they tick a box. What that means is that they offer some form of counselling service. Sometimes it's a phone call. You can ring somebody and speak to someone, which is brilliant if there's someone available. If there's someone on the end of the phone, that's fantastic. But if there's not, then what? So you can self-refer yourself. You can go to your GP for counselling, and that's probably just as bad as the phone call, or someone answering the phone call, or someone being there. Or you can self-refer. GP will refer you. Go through your GP. You can go through usually like there's a mental health team. Cornwall's mental health team where I live, and again it's if they've got the capacity to help you. Generally speaking, that the mental health team only deal with sort of extreme cases. From my experience, So basically, in terms of mental health, neurodiversity, because I would say neurodiversity probably comes in the mental health bracket, there is not a lot of help. Whether it's your employer or whether it is the sort of professional services, because those kind of services are just not there. What you need, and obviously there is no funding for this, is some kind of drop-in service. But again, it's the funding. There's just no funding for it. And there are organisations that pop up. I mean, in Cornwall we have a mental health service called Man Down. They're very much down the west way. I think the nearest one to me is Truro. So there are organisations that genuinely focus on either men's or women's mental health. Man Down was because I was set up purely because the suicide levels in men with mental health issues, and I would probably say I'm a prime candidate. I fit that bracket. Somebody that's waiting for some form of help. I'm waiting for that proverbial bus. I've been waiting for it for 10 years. I mean, the last 2 years is my self-referral and my way of putting my hand up. But I've been waiting for 2 years in terms of a diagnosis, and yes, the level of help. And your employees, I work for a caring organisation, I've worked in care for 23 years, and the level of support in terms of mental health, physical health, I'm going to be blunt. If you want someone to wipe your arse, fantastic. If you want somebody to show you how to live on a day-to-day basis, fantastic. Every organisation I've worked with can provide you with staff. If you want an organisation that supports your mental health, or the people's mental health that you work with or support, I haven't met an organisation yet that answers that criteria, and I'll blatantly say that. And even the organisation that I work for today, mindful employer or no mindful employer, I'm sorry, but you fall way short. On a scale of 1 to 10, you may be hitting a 2 if you're lucky. Because it's implemented by managers, and your managers talk about budgets. So when they talk about budgets, they devalue that level of care. So any manager that's watching this now, if you're saying to your staff, we need to cut costs, that's going to cost money. That's bullying in its blatant terms. You're bullying your staff. You're telling your staff, this is costing money, this is taking money out of my budget. I have to justify this workplace, and you're taking money out of my budget. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're offering a service, offer the service. If you want to be genuine and offer your staff an olive branch, or you want to offer them mental health services, offer them mental health services. Not platitudes, not shit about budgets. Care without compromise has always been my mantra. Care without compromise. You have it, you offer it, no strings. And it's got to be there when it needs to be there. It's no good at it being weeks and weeks down the line. If you look as an employer at your shrinkage of staff, I can guarantee that at least half of it is down to mental health. Your staff have had enough. You are not listening to your staff. And this is about employability. And if you're not listening to your staff, then they're going to move on. And the thing is, the mistakes, the errors, the problems that person who's moving on, just like me, I usually move on. And I've moved on in positions in the 7 years I've worked for this particular company I work for now. But I obviously have had issues over that 7-year period. And those issues have not been identified. As a caring organisation and one that knows, they've never been identified. No one's picked up on it. Managers that told me that they're all switched on, they're into all this, never noticed, never seen it. And even now, some managers will say, I've got problems with this staff and that staff, but there is no help for those staff. There is no help for those staff. So there are staff now, you have staff now, my organisation. You know who you are, and you are not answering to those staff's needs. And that is probably indicative of many employers. So I'm not just picking on you, but I don't work for other companies. I work for a caring organisation that should know about these things. So it frustrates me, it really angers me. But there are various forms of help. I mean, there's you can have sort of like psychotherapy, CBT, which is cognitive behavioural therapy. You can have sort of like a hypnotherapy type therapy, which doesn't change your mindset. It just you take a problem, you break it down into small pieces, and you deal with it. But that's an employment. But there are issues in employment. And I've got kind of political on this one because I've gone on a bit of a rant, so I'm going to keep it to that actually. But as employees, as managers, as colleagues, when your colleague comes to you and discloses that they've got mental health issues, you know, they deal with it in a certain way, and the way that they deal with it may not necessarily show the true meaning. I just say, you don't want to know. Why do you want to know about my problems? You don't want to know about my problems. You're not. I say you're not. They're not trained psychotherapists. They're not trained to deal with my issues. So are you all right? No. The short answer. You want the short answer or the long answer? The short answer is yeah. The long answer is no. I'm definitely not. I'm not all right. You know, and we all have problems. My colleague came in yesterday and said, you know, her husband's shifts had changed and this with the work and that with the work. That's a short answer. No, but in the long term she'll probably be all right. But she's got issues in terms of disability. I've got issues in terms of disability. Mine are long term. So the long answer for me is no, I'm not all right. Short answer is yeah, I suppose, but you don't want to know. And we've all got those problems, and we all need that help. And it needs to be there. It needs to be there. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be there. No excuses. So I'm going to leave that one there, and I might carry on this employability thing and sort of highlight some occupational health issues tomorrow. So yeah, catch you later. Bye.